I'm so excited about this video. We're doing a premiere yarn haul, and this is gonna be awesome. Okay, so the 3 yarns that I have in this box are Premier, Serenity, Chunky Candy, the whole color line, so I'm going to be sharing with you all of those. I have quite a few of the Premier Puzzle cotton yarns that I'm going to be sharing. They're so yummy. Oh, it's so amazing. And then last but not least, the Premier Puzzle yarn got a lot of colors here that I can't wait for you to see. After I share with you all of the colors that I have in the box, I'm going to be making small swatches with these 3 yarns and sharing with you a review of what I thought working them up and how they frog and what I would do with them. Okay, so right off the bat, I want to play with the brand new Serenity Chunky Candy yarn. It's a brand new yarn with Premier. There's so many fun colors. The colors are actually all over the place. They're very busy, and it'll be very interesting to work them up and see how they appear when actually in a project form. So the Serenity Chunky Cotton yarn is a size 5 weight bulky chunky yarn. There we go. The fiber is 100% acrylic, which I'm very excited about because future project I will talk about here in the end. There are 109 yards of yarn per skein, 100 meters, 3.5 ounces, 100 grams. When it comes to how much this yarn is, I will put that in the description section, comment section below this video, and it is based on when this video released, so it may be different if you're viewing this video at a separate time. The color of this yarn is confetti. Now let me go ahead and zoom in. That yummy, yummy yarn. Oh, the colors are so pretty. Next, we have Premier Serenity, okay, Chunky Candy, also Candy line. This is Sprinkles. The colors are actually pretty true on camera to what I'm seeing in real life, which is very exciting. So full of color. So again, Sprinkles. This is the color Primary. Give you a real good look at that yarn. Okay, the color Wildflower. I love all of the purples and blues. It's so pretty. Great. This is the color Raindrops. I think my son would really like this one because it has this lime green color in it, and he's all about neons. He likes those bright colors. Very cool. And I think I have one more in here. And this is the color Daisies. Oh, look at all those yellows. I like how there's a contrast of these really brights with all of a sudden this really dark color in there. Now the thing with all of these Serenity Candy line, they are so busy. So you see a punch of color all over the place. It is a very soft yarn. I think it would make a splendid wearable or even blanket if you wanted to go that far. And I will play with a swatch of those after I've gone through the other 2. Next one I want to talk about is the Premier Puzzle Cotton yarn. Now I got this yarn because I was super curious about how the cotton would work up, and honestly, it could have gone one of 2 ways. Cotton can either be very comfy, cozy, breathable, lightweight, wearable, amazing, or it can be more of a home good item, so it will be a little bit rougher, have some more friction, drag when you're crocheting with it, and also be a little more coarse. And you don't want to wear that or have that as a blanket. It's more so like a home good, like a washcloth, pot holder, coaster, placemat kind of thing. And this is soft. This is so soft. I would 100% hands down have this as a wearable, a sweater, cardigan, if you wanted to, a blanket. Very soft. Now this yarn is a size 4 weight yarn. 4. Medium. Aran worsted weight yarn. The fiber is 57% acrylic, 43% cotton. So it's a cotton blend, not a true 100% cotton. There are, per cake, 349 yards of yarn, 320 meters, 7 ounces, or 200 grams of yarn. So that's quite a lot of yarn in one cake. Oh my gosh, look at these colors. I am just over the moon. This is the color Dockside, and it makes me think of a lake house, something next to the water. I would make a wearable with that, a poncho, cardigan, cocoon, or even a blanket. Have that drape over your living room couch. Oh, so pretty. So I'm gonna put you back here. So again, that's Dockside. Next one up, I was thinking of all of the people out there that like the pastel soft baby colors. This is the color Taffy. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that make just the yummiest baby blanket ever? And it's so soft. Look at how those colors blend. That's the other thing about this cotton, Premier Puzzle cotton yarn. The colors are very ombre in nature and have this smooth transition of color, which is very calming on the eyes, peaceful, and very pretty. So that's Taffy. This is the color Fog Bank. Now I'm into whites, blacks, grays, neutrals, so I'm obsessed with this one. Pretty please, wearable for me, please. Oh, yes. Oh, get my hands out of the way so you can. So pretty. So again, Fog Bank. This one is fun. This one gives me all the vibes, gives me all the feels. It's called Carnival. Look at that. It's got like this really pretty seafoam green, a bold yellow, this pretty like rouge red. Oh, it's so stunning. Yes, please. Oh, love it. Again, Carnival. Next up, last one I have of the puzzle cotton yarn. This one is Canyon. I can't with these colors. They are just my vibe, 100%. It's got this turquoise blue with this light brown beige color in there. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. Again, color Canyon. Now, when it comes to the Premier Puzzle cotton yarns, there was a lot more on the website than what I've just shown you. I just showed you 5 different options, but I couldn't afford to get one of every color. Wasn't gonna happen. So I basically went with colors that I really vibe with and colors that I thought you would really vibe with as well. So hang on to the end to know why that's important. Last thing here is the puzzle yarn. This is plain puzzle, Premier Puzzle size 5 bulky chunky yarn. It is 100% acrylic. The amount of yarn per skein is 328 yards, 300 meters, 7 ounces, or 200 grams of yarn per skein. That's quite a bit, so very excited about that. Plus the fact that it's a size 5 bulky, you're gonna get some serious yardage, some serious room, a lot accomplished with this one skein. It's so soft. I could see doing so many different things, but hands down, a blanket is absolutely lovely and yummy. This color that I'm holding right now is the color Cat's Cradle. It's got some soft gray blues, pinks, this like orange creamsicle orange, some white. Very pretty and very playful. Now, if I have that color, I've got to go the opposite and get this gorgeous blue, and this is the color Seashore. It's got some beautiful light grays with some different variation shades of blue. Again, great for a baby blanket. I like grays, so I had to get my hands on this gray version. It's called Jax. Different shades of gray in this with a very stark white. It's very crisp and makes me think of snow on boulders or snow on rocks, and gives me all the vibes of being in a certain place, certain time, which is very special. This one right here is called Crossword. I've actually heard a few people working with this yarn. It works up very beautifully. Look at all those colors. Makes for a very pretty wearable, very pretty blanket. And then last but not least for what I have is this amazing, super fun color that is called Candy. When I see this, I think of one of my nieces prancing around with either a jacket or a beanie scarf mitten combo, or even a fun poncho, blanket even. How incredibly fun is that color? I love, love, love it. So, so fun. And again, just like with the Premier Puzzle cotton yarn, I have 5 different shades of the Premier Puzzle yarn here, but there was probably 15 different colors to choose from. And again, I purely went based on what I liked and colors that I've heard you like as well. All right, now is the fun part. Let's go ahead and work up a swatch to see how these yarns actually work up in a project. Ooh, this is a real treat getting to dig into this yarn. So I picked up my favorite colors. Here I got the Candy yarn in Sprinkles, the Premier Puzzle cotton yarn in Carnival, and the Premier Puzzle yarn in the color Candy. I picked crochet hooks that were recommended on the yarn labels themselves. So for Serenity Chunky Candy, looking at the label, it did recommend using an 8mm crochet hook or an L. I don't have that size, which is crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and work with a 6.5mm crochet hook or a K, which is slightly smaller, but it'll still be okay. Looking at this size 5 weight yarn, I would be using a K anyway. That's just what I would pair with it. With the Premier Puzzle cotton yarn, it recommended the crochet hook 5.5mm or a size I9, and that's what I have here. And for the Premier Puzzle yarn, it recommended using a 6mm crochet hook or a J10. So I pulled out my J 6mm crochet hook. Okay, I think I will go ahead and begin with the Candy yarn. I'm gonna just work up a small little swatch, get a feel for it, work half double crochet stitches, nothing crazy. It is a little bit rougher when working it individually. And when I look at the yarn here, how they're definitely twisted. It's like 2 yarns that have been twisted together. They do kind of want to separate apart from each other. So just being aware of that, I could see that being a bit challenging with the crochet process if those yarns do come apart like this. I wouldn't want my crochet hook to be going between those 2 yarns that have been twisted together. But working this up, what does it feel like? It's soft, almost like a blanket yarn, but it's like a combination of a blanket yarn and a regular acrylic, one of those just basic regular acrylic yarns that you would get on the shelf. And I know that's like really weird to say because this yarn is so fancy, but it does appear like they took 2 different fibers of yarn, the blanket soft, almost like fleece type of feel with 1 strand of yarn, and they twisted it with a cheaper bargain acrylic yarn. And I know that might sound really weird, and I hope I don't put a bad taste in your mouth with it because it is beautiful and it is working up well. It's just very interesting how they put this yarn together. Okay, so made a few chains here. It's working up beautifully. I'm gonna work half double crochet stitches in the first row. How does it work when working on top of each other and actually working stitches. Now for me, because those yarn strands, it literally is like 2 strands of yarn twisted, it's catching on my hook. I'm having to be extra cautious with my stitches to make sure I'm not dropping part of that strand, like dropping one twist and leaving the other, catching the other. And when pulling stitches through, how the yarn is kind of separating apart from each other. So it's a very interesting experience working with it. I'm finding that you're going to have to take a little extra care with your stitches. You're not going to be able to go zoom and just go. It might take a little more awareness with your stitches. And there is so much instant color change. There's so much color. It's going to be a very busy look. Whatever you make, it's going to look very busy. And sometimes that is awesome, and we like the loudness of the colors and how it all plays together. And if that is you and something that you really enjoy, you're going to love this. How does it work continuing on? Okay. It just stays consistent. Just be aware, be slower and more cautious. Okay, now I want to see how it frogs. How do you frog? Very smooth. Nothing's catching. Comes apart very easily. All right, so personally, I think that it works up. It would make a really beautiful item. I would be very selective on what I make based on how busy the colors were and take extra care with the crochet hook. I think I understand a little bit more why they wanted that larger crochet hook. If you go smaller, like anything smaller than this K crochet hook, I think you're going to run into some serious issues because your crochet hook is going to want to catch on one of those twisted yarns. So you're definitely going to want to work with larger crochet hooks with this yarn so that way you can actually work around those twisted strands. All right, next up is the Premier Puzzle Cotton. Oh, you're beautiful. Such a treat. So removing the label. And so soft. It does have an interesting texture to the yarn. It's not like a smoothness. It has like this, sort of like a braid even though it's twisted. And it might just be the nature of the cotton that's in there. The cotton fiber is causing the yarn itself to be more defined. I think that's the perfect word for it. There's a lot of definition in the yarn. Oh, it's beautiful. It's definitely working up like a cotton, like I feel the cotton. It makes a lot of sense. It's still soft, it's still comfortable, but I feel that fiber, I feel a little bit of that denseness in there, which would make for incredible wearables and some really comfy, cozy blankets. Okay, so I'm not having any issue working with the yarn strands. Everything is smooth. I'm not concerned about anything catching. There's no friction. I don't feel the friction like a Lily Sugar and Cream or a Premier Home Cotton. One of those more dishcloth type cotton yarns. Those have a lot of drag and a lot of friction. This yarn does not have that same friction. It's very smooth to work with. Works up very quickly. That's nice. And the colors are stunning. So far I'm stuck. This particular yarn has sections of one particular color where it's bold and stays one color. And then it looks like there is a gradual transition to the next color, but I won't be able to get to that transition in this particular swatch. So we won't be able to see how that works up. But just looking at the yarn itself, it looks like it has an ombre appeal, which is super pretty, that gradual color change. Okay, so working up that little bit feels good. I like it. I would work with it. How does it frog? Very smooth. So if you make a mistake, have to go back, there'll be no problem. Awesome. Okay, so wrap that back up. Let's move on to the last yarn, which is just the Premier Puzzle. All right, Premier Puzzle. Okay, so the crochet hook I have paired with that is the J or 6mm. Okay, so this yarn right here is also looking like the 2 yarn twist, but the twist is tighter. Looking at it, it definitely has more hold structure. It looks more connected. Even when I reverse the twists to see how it's holding up quite well, and it instantly wants to retwist. Very different than what I was getting from the Serenity candy. So I'm very excited about how that'll work up, and I think it'll create less of an issue. Oh yeah, it definitely instantly works up like it's one skein, or sorry, that it's one yarn strand. It doesn't work up like it's 2, even though you can clearly tell that it's 2 strands of yarn that have been twisted together. They also feel in unison. There is no definite, oh, one is one texture, one is another. Both of the yarns are the exact same texture. I'm getting a very cohesive, consistent feel. It's very soft, very comfortable. I can instantly tell from the fiber that it would make something very warm. There's a little bit of friction here on row 1 working with the yarn, and I have a feeling that has a lot to do with the acrylic, because it's 100% acrylic. A little bit of that pull, that drag happening, but I think that could also be the fact that I'm working with a plastic crochet hook. I was trying to stay a little more consistent with my crochet hooks here. I got these crochet hooks that light up and I've been trying to play with them a little bit because I think they'll help me work when I am watching TV with my husband and he likes the room to be a little bit darker and no lights on. And I'm like, how am I supposed to crochet in this? So I got some light up hooks. I'll put a link to these hooks in the description section below if you would like to check them out. They're pretty neat. But yes, the drag might have something to do with the fact that this is a plastic hook, and I would probably transition to an aluminum crochet hook if working a project with this yarn. Okay, now frog. How does it frog? Beautifully, very smooth. No issues if you have to undo your work and fix an error. No problems. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun reviewing this yarn with you. I hope you loved seeing the colors that I selected and just everything that was picked out. I'd like to say a special thank you to my members who picked out what yarn that I would purchase. It was actually them that selected which types of yarns, the Serenity Chunky Candy, the Premier Puzzle Cotton, and the Premier Puzzle Yarn. That was all you. I just picked colors. So thank you so much for the treat of letting me experience what it was like to use these yarns. Check back in for some giveaways where some of these yarns are going to make it in the bag. It's gonna be awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great day, guys, and I'll see you with the next one. Bye.